Hi, I'm Joe Freeman of the Oregonian. This is Mike Richman of the Oregonian. The trade deadline has come and gone, and as it seems to always be the case, Neil Olshey did not stand pat. He did multiple things. I don't think any of them would be widely considered a sexy move, certainly not a blockbuster.
He said they were sexy.
He would definitely disagree with that statement, but when the dust settled, and they're not all official yet, but this is as we understand it right now, the Blazers, through a series of moves with Cleveland and Orlando and Miami. Did I miss anybody there? Sounds about right.
Yes,
They
you
will
got it.
acquire a future first-round pick. That's a 2018 pick from the Cleveland Cavaliers, a second-round pick from the Miami Heat, Brian Roberts from the Miami Heat, and Anderson Varejao. But they do plan on waiving Anderson Varejao before the deadline ends later today, before the day ends here on Thursday. They also waived Tim Frazier today, and they shipped a future second-round pick to the Orlando Magic as part of the deal with Cleveland. So a busy day, again, not an earth-shattering day, but really something that sticks to what we've seen Neil do over the years. Tinkers here and there, makes really prudent, shrewd moves that don't draw a lot of headlines, but really make this team better. I like a lot. Obviously, the biggest draw is the first-round pick. That's an asset later on that you can either use, obviously, to draft a player in 2018, or even more likely, I can see that being dangled as part of a larger deal. After all, you look at this season, the Blazers were able to get their starting center, Mason Plumlee, for a late first-round pick. So right now, this Blazers team, which is rebuilding and exceeding expectations, but still rebuilding, is looking to gather assets and another asset for Neil Olshey moving forward.
Yeah, probably the biggest news sort of in terms of this current roster is that reserve point guard Tim Frazier was waived as part of the deals. Brian Roberts, when that deal becomes official, will take his spot as the backup reserve third point guard. That's one of Damian Lillard's closest friends on the team. They've developed a really close friendship over about the 18 months or so that Tim Frazier's been with the team. Dame was obviously saddened, a little disappointed to see his buddy go, but he understands as well as anyone this part of a business. He thinks that Frazier will land on his feet somewhere in the league. I'm inclined to agree. We'll see where that ends up. The other name that sort of was floating around the trade deadline, Gerald Henderson, he's still on the team, happy to be here. Blazers season starts for real in earnest tomorrow night, the second half. They play the Golden State Warriors, who are 48-4. So the roster that looks really similar will get a really big test right away.
One thing to keep in mind too is the players lobbied before the deadline to keep this roster status, or to keep this thing status quo, to forge ahead with the group they had, and to a certain degree, Neil Olshey gave them what they wanted. I mean, they lost a third-string point guard who barely played for a future asset, and really upgraded that position too with Brian Roberts, who's been in the league longer, is a more proven vet. So all in all, I think you have to, while not a sexy or certainly didn't acquire a blockbuster, it was a good day for the Blazers, a day of progress for the Blazers, gathering assets moving forward.